Ahead on THV 11 News, the storm is coming and Central Arkansas is getting ready. Coming up, live reports as officials and shoppers prepare for the cold and ice. Plus, meteorologist Ed Buckner has a timeline for what areas will be hit and when. Bundle up and buckle up. Your THV 11 News at 5 starts now.
Now, the difference in news and information in Arkansas. THV 11 News at 6.
With our eyes on the skies, there is no way around it. It's going to be slick around here for the next few days. Thank you for joining us. I'm Craig O'Neill.
And I'm Elise Edie in for Don Scott tonight. Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner tracking the cold air as it gets ready to crawl across Arkansas. Any new updates for us, Ed?
Nothing new. I mean, this is going to be a phase-by-phase deal, y'all. As we head into Thursday, it's just going to be, take a look at this. This is the timeline. Tom actually made this earlier. I have not had to change it one bit, which tells us the computer models are all pretty much in agreement. Hadn't been a whole lot of changing. Tomorrow it's going to be windy, temperatures dropping. In central Arkansas, just a cold rain, wintry mix developing in northwest Arkansas early. Now on Friday, that's when central Arkansas will begin to see the freezing rain mixing with some sleet, and it'll change to snow up across the north. Saturday and into Sunday even, more wintry weather. That's more likely to be sleet and snow. Accumulations will not be all that impressive, but it'll just add to whatever we get on Friday because temperatures won't get above freezing. Again, as far as what we can expect temperature-wise, it's already cooling off in the northwest. It's 43 in Fayetteville, 48 in Fort Smith, 61 in Mena. The front pushing into Russellville right now, 63 there, 61 in Clinton, 60 in Mountain Home, 70 still in Stuttgart, Monticello, and Camden. So here's tomorrow's forecast. No problems in the Little Rock area tomorrow, but it will be rainy and it's going to be cold and windy. Temperatures falling from a high in the mid-morning, early morning hours to a low in the afternoon. About this time, we'll be in the upper 30s. And then we go to freezing tomorrow night and Friday. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, Ed, thanks a lot.
Well, you heard that forecast. It's a call that has the state's utility companies concerned.
THV 11's Lisa Hudson just heard from officials with Entergy Arkansas and has this live update. Lisa.
That's right. We heard from President and CEO of Entergy Arkansas, Hugh McDonald, earlier today. He says they are preparing for a 5 to 7 day ice event. They began bringing in extra materials as early as Monday of this week, and they expect those materials to keep coming in through Saturday. And it's kind of interesting. They're taking these forecast models and placing them into their own computer models to determine exactly how much damage they can expect. Right now, they're estimating around 2,000 power poles could be damaged due to this storm. Now, as far as power workers, they've got 8,000 power restoration workers expected to be on standby for the rest of this week. 6,700 of them are coming from out of state. They'll be positioning them along interstates, McDonald says, to begin with. That way they can get to the most affected areas as soon as possible. Today, they began arranging food and housing for all of these workers. You can imagine if the power is out, not only does it affect us, it also affects these workers who are trying to restore it. So a lot of preparation, a lot of, I guess, technical things that we have to do to get ready for this storm. Craig, Elise.
All right, Lisa, thanks a lot. Power companies not the only ones preparing for a blast from Old Man Winter. Emergency workers and highway crews are also making plans. And
THV 11's Marlisa Goldsmith has those details. Marlisa.
Craig and Elise, more than 24 hours before the storm is even expected to hit, and emergency crews are already bringing on board extra personnel and staff, and they're making extensive plans to make sure they have everything taken care of to ensure the safety of Arkansans.
This upcoming round of winter weather will be no joke.
We have over 1,000 pieces of equipment ready to tackle this event statewide.
Although we saw unseasonable highs and experienced record-breaking warmth Wednesday, Central Arkansas could see up to a 40-degree drop on Thursday.
We're going to get some rain before the temperatures drop below freezing. And so as a result, anything that we would put down to pre-treat would get washed away.
Which is why the Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department is prepping all of their districts across the state, making sure they are ready to tackle the storm. The Arkansas Department of Emergency Management is another agency preparing for the winter weather.
National Guard, we've been talking to quite a bit. They'll be putting some folks on state active duty tomorrow to ensure that they can get any needed personnel in and out.
Staff has already been assigned to work inside the Emergency Operations Center, getting everything in place and waiting to provide assistance whenever Old Man Winter decides to hit.
Now, in the event that your power does go out, you want to remember to get your non-perishable foods, also gather your medicines together, and you want to take out some cash because remember, if there's no power, you have no access to an ATM. Craig and Elise.
Good point. Thank you, Marlisa. Now, transportation and emergency officials are preparing for the worst, but what do you think?
THV 11's Kevin Traeger is live in West Little Rock at Home Depot. And Kevin, how concerned are customers about the weather?
Good evening to you, Craig and Elise. Some people definitely a little bit worried about this storm. I was in Conway today where I got a mixed reaction of people, some not really sure what to expect. Others say they're not taking any chances after last year's Christmas storm.
All the news all calls for it, but I don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you.
That uncertainty, a driving force behind Arkansans preparing for the upcoming sleet and wintry mix expected to hit Friday morning. Faulkner County residents tell THV they're ready for whatever Mother Nature has in store, especially after losing power for days following last December's storm.
I'm just worried about any type of electricity issues that we might have. Just trying to be prepared this time, though.
I don't know if this will be anything like that or not. That was a pretty big one.
We were having a Sunday school class party at our church Saturday, and we were afraid it would get icy, and slick, so we canceled it.
Here at Heagles Supply in Conway, employees say items such as weather stripping, antifreeze, and faucet covers have been flying off the shelves. They've even sold about a quarter of the propane in this giant tank to customers just in the past 24 hours.
We've about sold out of this one here. Those have been real popular.
Hardware sales associate Kevin Horsley says most customers don't expect as much ice as last December, but their storm prep sales have nearly tripled this week.
We sold a lot of batteries, faucet covers, some ice melt for the sidewalks, things like that.
I'm probably going to get ready to put those drift things over the faucets on the outside of the house.
Filling up a propane bottle for a fireplace. That way I make sure I have enough gas in case the ice storm hits.
Because if it does hit, Faulkner County residents I spoke with say they won't leave the couch until it's all over.
We're just going to stay at home.
Oh, I won't go out in them. I just stay inside.
If it's ice, yeah, we'll probably just stay in the house. But if we get snow and that kind of thing, we'll probably get out and have some fun.
Some of the older people I spoke with today say it's really not the roads they're most concerned about in these ice events, it's actually the sidewalks, so they plan to stay indoors until everything has melted. Craig and Elise.
Not a bad idea. Thank you, Kevin. And as this wintry weather bears down, stay with us here at THV 11 for the latest information.
Now we'll be live as the ice and cold start to roll in. Many school districts and other businesses have been finalizing how they'll get their cancellations out. We'll have them for you right here on THV 11.
And you can find this all on our website, THV11.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for text alerts and get the latest weather and school closings sent right to your phone.
The weather and the short holiday season have slowed the Salvation Army's most significant fundraiser, the bell ringing and kettle campaign. Central Arkansas Captain Roger Glick says right now the Salvation Army is about $40,000 behind their goal, and that could reach $70,000 depending on how this weekend turns out. Glick says with an already shortened holiday season, the Army needs Arkansans to step up and give a little bit extra.
Over 4,500 children are depending upon the Salvation Army for toys and other things for Christmas. So this Red Kettle campaign is imperative.
The Red Kettle campaign makes up about 70% of the Salvation Army's overall budget.
An update on the push to establish a leash law in Hot Springs Village in the wake of a fatal dog attack that killed a 75-year-old woman last month. Village Police Chief Gary Adams says there was widespread support for some kind of leash law at a meeting of property owners this morning. Adams now has to go before the quorum courts in Garland and Saline counties to develop language for a new ordinance. He'll report back to the village next month.
And a judge has thrown out the seizure of more than 1,600 pounds of marijuana in a bus last year because the state trooper didn't have a reason to pull over the motorhome that was carrying it. Federal Judge Christine Baker ordered the evidence suppressed. Now, the trooper said the motorhome twice drifted over the outside line of the left lane of Interstate 40, but the judge says it's not clear to most drivers that doing that is against the law. The two men arrested have a jury trial scheduled later this month. And the Little Rock Police Department kicking off their biggest fundraiser of the year. It's the 8th annual Shop with a Cop. The program helped 8 children in its first year, but this year they were able to provide for more than 100 kids. Each child joined by an officer to walk through the store, picking out Christmas gifts for their family.
Younger kids come up and they want to, say, officer, how are you? And they want they want to talk to us and all that. And as they become older, sometimes we lose that rapport. And so this is, this program goes all the way up to 16 years old. And so we're able to maintain that by helping kids in the community and let them see us, just while we're out shopping and not working.
The force has raised over $40,000 from the community this year, doing a lot of good. Well, next, remembering a Cabot man who came up with a one-of-a-kind idea.
The marriage of Doritos and tacos, a brilliant concept, and the friends and family of that man are celebrating his life and that idea today. We will hear from them.
That plus a full forecast with Ed Buckner straight ahead on THV 11 News at 6.
Let's find out how Ed's Twitter project is going, what people would stock up on.
It's wonderful.
Instead of just milk and bread.
A lot of Dr. Pepper comments,
Really?
flaming Cheetos and Dr. Pepper. Sausage,
What was yours?
Sausage and Dr. Pepper. Mine's cheese dip and toilet paper.
I still say toilet paper. You can't eat toilet paper. It has to be something.
Well, I know, but if you run out, you're in trouble.
That's true.
Just saying.
Well, that's true.
And if you're out of power, you can't really heat up the cheese dip, can you?
That's true, too.
And also, somebody enlightened me. Bread, the reason for bread and milk, bread to make sandwiches, milk for cereal, because you can't do any cooking when the power's out.
Makes sense.
Too.
Yeah.
Too bad I don't like sandwiches. I like cheese dip. Anyway, enough of that. There will likely be some power outages, unfortunate. That's the bad news in all this. Yeah, roadways, that's going to be an issue as well, but I think power outages will be a little bit more, I guess, prevalent than what we earlier thought, because it is looking like an ice event. Let's start you off again with what's going on right now around the state. The cold front has already pushed into northwest Arkansas. It's kind of easy to see. Can you play Find the Cold Front? Little game Sarah Fortner invented. I like it. 40. Yeah, well, it's actually past Fayetteville. Now, Craig, you're actually wrong, because if you look closely, 60 in Mountain Home, but 64 in Batesville. There's the front right through there, right through the river valley. Mena was 70 an hour ago, so 61. So temperatures are falling through this northwesterly chunk of the state. Little Rock 69, Arkadelphia 65, Camden still at 70 degrees. Now, over the past 3 hours, you can just watch how the temperatures have plummeted. Great Falls, Montana was at 1 degree above zero, and now they're at 10 below. So the colder air sinking in. Topeka dropping slowly down into the middle 20s. Oklahoma City went from the mid 40s now into the upper 30s. So the cold air moving on in. Here's the timeline. I showed you this a moment ago. Briefly want to go over it with you again. Tomorrow for central Arkansas, a cold rain, with temperatures falling throughout the day. I mean, I'm talking a cold afternoon, but still above freezing barely. Friday, we will drop below freezing, and that's going to change the rain to freezing rain and sleet and snow across North Arkansas. Now, Saturday late and into Sunday, more winter weather, but that's more likely to be some sleet and maybe even some snow. And accumulations should be very light, or fairly light, into the weekend, but this is not going to let up just immediately. We'll get a break from Friday night into Saturday afternoon, but then more develops. The winter storm warning has been extended down to include the Little Rock area. Winter storm watch here in light blue, and ice storm warnings for the purple. That's west central and southwest Arkansas, and that's likely to be extended into more of the state as we head into tomorrow and into Friday. I think there's going to be more significant icing in other areas as well. Models are still indicating about 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulations by Friday. This is Friday. Thursday, we're not going to see ice in Little Rock. Friday, we will. Mainly on bridges and overpasses first, and trees and power lines. The ground, 77 degrees today, but again, exposed or elevated objects will get colder faster and below freezing, and give it some time, and once that ice starts accumulating, there will be some problems, maybe as early as Friday morning's commute, but more likely in the middle of the day Friday as temperatures fall. 77 our high today, a record high by 1 degree from 2001 when the temperature was 76. North Little Rock 73. It's 69 right now, dew point 59, the front nowhere close to us. It's still here in northwest Arkansas, but it moves through overnight. And then by tomorrow mid-morning, it's out of the state, but the cold air lags behind a little bit. So we're looking at rain for most of the area tomorrow with freezing rain and sleet to the north. This is at midnight tomorrow night. That's when I'm thinking it'll change over to freezing rain and sleet for us and stay that way for most of Friday. That's 7 a.m. Friday, still looking at freezing rain. And then Friday afternoon, a brief change over to snow before it all clears out. And again, it clears out briefly, and then more comes over the weekend, late Saturday, more likely during the day Sunday. Look how the temperatures just plummet tonight as the cold air begins to move through. We don't even see temperatures go up tomorrow. They go down all day long. Tomorrow at this time will be in the upper 30s. All right, so here's the forecast. 90% cold rain tomorrow. Temperatures falling fast. Friday, not getting above freezing. Freezing rain likely. Sleet and snow possible into the weekend. We may not get above freezing, y'all, till next Wednesday. Be prepared. Back to you.
Got it, Ed. Thank you for preparing us.
Yeah, thanks for that a lot. An Arkansas couple tonight sharing their story of perseverance and faith.
Got on the list. She received one before I did. 3 months later, I received one.
Annie and Lynn Davis have been married for 36 years, and around the same time, both learned they needed a kidney transplant. Now, months after their surgeries at Baptist Health, the Davises are hoping to inspire others to never give up. THV 11's Ashley Blackstone has this Prescription Arkansas tonight at 10. In 2009, Arkansan Todd Mills started a Facebook page called Taco Shells Made from Doritos Movement. 4 years later, Doritos Locos Tacos are Taco Bell's one of their most popular items.
And with word that Mills has died, the internet is buzzing with photos of taco fans eating in his memory. THV 11's Macy Jenkins reports.
In this photo, Todd Mills' co-workers at the Chamber of Commerce gather in his office to enjoy a Doritos Locos taco. It's all in celebration of Todd.
Todd is more than the mastermind behind the Dorito taco.
A man of many talents, Todd Mills was not only a web wizard, but a band member and the office prankster.
He had a cricket chirping little device in many people's offices.
Mills gained attention by starting a Facebook page called Taco Shells Made from Doritos in 2009. After a failed pitch to Frito-Lay, Taco Bell posted on his page in 2012. The company invited him to their test kitchen in California to be one of the first people to try their new Doritos Locos taco.
He never asked for compensation. When people thought he deserved compensation,
College friend Jay Arrowwood says it was really cool to see Mills' idea come to fruition.
Todd was very humble and modest. He was hardworking and creative.
Taco Bell donated $1,000 to his medical bills, but he never received any money for his idea. Many are commenting online angry that Taco Bell didn't pay Mills and now urging the company to compensate his family. At his funeral on Monday, friends and family weren't worried about the compensation. They gathered to celebrate their creative jokester, gone too soon.
It's been very emotional for everybody there, but it was a great tribute.
He leaves behind his wife Ginger and 2 daughters, 19-year-old Tyler and 6-year-old Lainey.
Mills' close friend Jimmy Looney set up a webpage called Team Todd to raise money for his treatment. Now those funds will go to Mills' family. Well, this winter weather has already forced a change of plans for high school football.
Yep, Mark Edwards will be along in just a second with the latest on the postponed state football championships. Stay with us.
Well, better safe than sorry. At least that's what the Arkansas Activities Association believes. This weekend, the championship set for the 7A, 6A, and Class 5A, which would feature Cabot, has been postponed. Gives Cabot another weekend to prepare for Bentonville. The AAA also announced other changes to the high school football schedule for the coming weeks, and here they are. Of course, this weekend is supposed to be championship weekend at War Memorial Stadium. Not quite. Some of the changes you see there, 7A, 6A, and 5A will now be moved back a week. These aren't the only changes set to be made. Class 4A semis, these games will take place the next weekend. It'll start at 7. Warren will host Valley View, and Harrison travels to Pine Bluff, Dalloway. In Class 3A, some change of locations. Benton Harmony Grove will feature those games. Earl at Charleston, Smack over at Glen Rose. And in Class 2A, wow, you're talking about a move. Bearden, Desark, those games will be moved to El Dorado. Again, these are the revived changes made to this weekend's scheduling due to the winter storm warning. Last night, the Hogs returned to Bud Walton Arena, and whoa, in a word, they looked impressive.
Even when they broke our pressure or came at us, I thought guys fixed things on defense. We defended the rim. Moses did a good job. Bobby did a good job. If we didn't block a shot, we did a good job of altering shots.
Aside from their defensive efforts, we did see a coming out party for freshman Bobby Portis offensively. 7 of 9 from the field, finished with 16 points. Hogs won 111-65. It was the first time they reached the century mark since November 2012. I remember Thanksgiving Day, Steelers-Ravens game. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin literally jumping out of the way of the Ravens return man Jacoby Jones. Well, Jones was tackled, and Tomlin's action sparked controversy throughout the NFL. Today, the NFL fined the Steelers coach Tomlin $100,000, referring